The name Butlins has been synonymous with traditional British family holidays and happy memories for many years. Now, 75 years after the first Butlins was opened in Skegness, the classic holiday company has come up with a novel way of making sure their parks are putting smiles on people's faces as big as they were back in 1936 by appointing a Director of Happiness. Mark Hunter is the man who will take on the big role, and he joins me now to talk about exactly what his new role will entail. Welcome, Mark.
Thank you.
Well, first of all, I have to ask, what exactly is a Director of Happiness, and does this mean that you are always happy?
Well, it's an interesting question. Well, first of all, Director of Happiness, really I have two areas in my role. I'm going to be looking at the various different activities that we have on offer for families when they come to Butlins, and to see to what extent, according to the research, these are going to lead to improved states of happiness, both at the time and ongoing following the activity. The other part of my role is to generally look at happiness and see how we can help UK families combat some of the barriers to happiness. And what we've done is we've put some really nice advice, very clear advice on our website at butlins.com/happiness, looking at how we can combat some of those barriers.
Excellent. So you actually looked back at what made people happy sort of years and years ago, because we mentioned sort of 1936 and we all remember Heidi High as well. So what have you sort of found out? What is it about Great British holidays back in the day that we're quite nostalgic about?
I think it's in reality, when you peel between the layers, it's actually exactly the same as makes things happy now. Our research has shown us that really the main thing that makes families happy is spending time together. That was the same in 1936 and it's the same in 2011. It's maximising on that time you have together and using that time as a family to try new things and, enjoy each other's company and recharge the batteries.
Absolutely. And you mentioned the research there to sort of test the happiness levels of families across Britain. What else did the study reveal?
Well, it revealed some of the things that I suppose you might expect. Some of the barriers to happiness were things like around money and obviously the time spent at work. But I think the key bit of information that we're focusing on, and it's really rather exciting, is that you might think that children want to spend their time just with their heads buried in their iPod or playing the Xbox, but actually the reality is that families want to be together and children want to be with their parents, and that's really where we come in, because we are all about families. We have been since 1936 and we continue to be so today.
Absolutely. I mean, times certainly have changed, hasn't it? You sort of look around and kids are always playing with their games and whatnot, so it's nice to sort of go back to sort of traditional stuff the parents will remember as well. I suppose some people will say that it's quite a tough task in these slightly more testing times. Do you think you can put a smile back on the faces of British parents and children?
Well, I think you can, and I think if there's any place that you can do that, it's going to be on holidays. I mean, we're very, very serious about the business of holidays and happiness. We know people work very hard to have that time away and that special time with each other, and we know that with increasing pressures in modern day society that time together is increasingly precious. So it's up to us to make sure we have activities that families can enjoy together, which are going to lead to happy memories and hopefully some lovely photographs and videos.
Excellent. And one question, just again going back to this Director of Happiness, I think there'll be a lot of people listening thinking that sounds like a pretty cool job. How did you get the job? What kind of qualities do you need to take on the role?
Well, back to your original question, am I happy all the time? Well, probably not all the time, but hopefully more often than not. No, I'm also in another part of my role. I've been looking at developing our team, and as such, I spend a lot of time studying, and I'm currently finishing off a master's degree in positive psychology, which is the study of human flourishing, and part of that is how happiness works, how we can be more happy. So it made sense that when I was looking in terms of our offering at Butlins, what I wanted to do was say, let's look at an activity and see to what extent will it lead to happiness. And an example of that might be, you'll find that in the research around happiness, the higher form of happiness, if you like, is happiness which is attached to meaning. And within our lives, one of the greatest areas where we find meaning is developing children. I mean, certainly I have a young daughter, and meaning of my life has changed since having her. So when I go on holiday, just the same as all our guests, we want our children to try new things that they might not necessarily get the chance to do. So from our point of view, it might be things like trying out the climbing rule or the high ropes, learning archery, fencing, street dance you could try. And also there's lots of really nice interactive activities. We have our Brainiac event, we can learn about science or meet some exotic animals, or even learning some sports routines from Sporticus at the Lazytown show, these would all be in line with my feeling of meaning in terms of developing my child. And, you know, that's kind of what we're all about, maximising those special times.
Absolutely, and it all sounds like a lot of fun, I've got to say, especially with street dance in
Absolutely.
there. Maybe a new Heidi High in the making.
Well, we'll see. I mean,
never know.
we're very proud of where we've come from. You know, we are celebrating 75 years, and it's great to have our redcoats back in the old retro uniforms from 1936.
Of course.
And then of course, but we've evolved. You know, we now have spa hotels. It's a different kind of offering, but the heart of it is the same. It's about families, it's about happiness, and it's about celebrating those special times we have together.
Really excellent messages to hear, actually, that are often lost in today's slightly more complicated world, I have to say. But just finally, where can people go for more information on this?
For more information about happiness, about Butlins, and really importantly about how you can combat those barriers to happiness, take a look at butlins.com/happiness.
Excellent. Thanks so much for joining us, Mark Hunter.
Thank you.